Christian soldiers marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Christ the royal master leads against the foe. Forward into battle, see his banners go. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Oh, for a faith that will not shrink, though pressed by every foe, that will not tremble on the brink of any earthly woe, that will not murmur or complain beneath a chastening rod, but in the hour of grief or pain will lean upon its God. A faith that shines more bright and clear when tempest rage without, that when in danger knows no fear, in darkness feels no doubt. Lord, give us such a faith as this, and then whate'er may come, we'll taste and hear the hallowed bliss of an eternal home. A charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never-dying soul to save, and fit it for the sky, to serve the present age, my calling to fulfill. Oh, may it all my powers engage to do my Master's will. Arm me with jealous care, as in thy sight to live, and O thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give. Help me to watch and pray, and on thyself rely, assured if I my trust betray, I shall forever die. Rise up, O men of God, have done with lesser things, give heart and mind and soul and strength to serve the King of Kings. Rise up, O men of God, his kingdom tarries long. Bring in the day of brotherhood and end the night of wrong. Rise up, O men of God, the church for you doth wait, her strength unequal to her task. Rise up and make her great. Lift high the cross of Christ, tread where his feet have trod, as brothers of the Son of Man, rise up, O men of God.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. That is
Hello. Thank you. CJ was just in here to do Young Brothers with me, and he decided to move downstairs. He told me to start the video. That was 5 minutes ago. He said he'd be back before the video ended. We see how well that worked. How's everyone doing this evening? He'll get here sometime eventually. We're sure of it. But Carol says good evening. Good evening, Sister Carol. There he is. And she says, hello, everyone. I think we read the wrong chapters, and let's read. Don't put me in timeout.
Hello.
There you are.
Sorry, late.
You're a minute and 7 seconds late.
Oh well. Sue me.
Oh.
I decided that it was way too hot in my room, so I came out here.
Shocker. Oh, don't worry, Angie. A little bit of extra Bible reading never killed anybody. It may mess with the schedule a little bit, but
Although, I don't have my lovely background I had this afternoon.
your porch light does good enough.
Yeah, it's kind of glaring. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we can still see you pretty good.
I just did this.
Well, if you scoot your chair over to the left 2 feet, and then angle your camera over that farther beyond the light, towards just outside of the video. Well, or you could put your head in the way. But then you have glare around your head.
Well, sorry, it's not perfect, but it'll have to work. We got Carol, Angie, and the Looker.
No one's told me how they're doing today.
202
202?
in the
Gray Book?
gray.
Heather says boo. She's our lurker.
No.
Glad to have Heather. Where did it? Oh, the Gray Book's over there.
I gotta move back to how I was. I just disturbed I'm grateful for Levi having last night's reading. Sorry about that.
And Heather says good evening. Good evening, Heather. Heather says, how are you? I am doing splendid. How about you, sister? Carol says, hello, 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 hello. Who used to say that?
What in the world? Yeah, I'm changing this back. Whoever. Okay. Really.
I don't know, Carol. Was that a CEM dude, or are you referring to someone elsewhere?
Hello.
That might have been Dad, if you're referring to a CEM, someone on CEM, or I don't know.
Hey, Carissa.
And Carissa and Matt are here.
How are you?
Heather's just still praying for you.
If y'all missed my short little if y'all missed my book adoption today, that's because I didn't do it. It's not gonna be on Sundays because I just don't have time to do a devotion on Sundays. So it'll be Monday through Friday. So look for that tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Carol says an older show must have been before your time. Well, that seems like something Red Skeleton would do. Hello, 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 hello. It also reminds me of maybe the Sprint commercial. Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me now? It's moving all over the place.
Really?
Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, opening to the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the dark of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day. All thy works with joy surround the earth and heaven reflect thy rays. Stars and angels sing around thee, center of unbroken praise. Field and forest, vale and mountain, flowery meadow, flashing sea, chanting bird and flowing fountain, call us to rejoice in thee. Thou art giving and forgiving, ever blessing, ever blessed, wellspring of the joy of living, ocean depth of happy rest. Thou our Father, Christ our brother, all who live in love are thine. Teach us how to love each other, lift us to the joy divine. Mortals join the mighty chorus which the morning stars began. Father, love is reigning o'er us, brother, love binds man to man. Ever singing march we onward, victors in the midst of strife. Joyful music leads us onward, lift in triumph joy of life. I like that song.
Yes, it's very happy.
Do you know who wrote that song? Well, you can't just look at it.
I would guess Hanny Van Dyke.
Yes, but the melody is done by Beethoven.
Ah, Beethoven.
And that's his hymn to joy. And Beethoven's melody is on my playlist, so I know the tune very well. Which is why I was able just to jump into it. Angie says, LOL, Carol. Carol says, I never even heard of them? As in what?
By the way, you guys are going to get like 3 or 4 weeks of sermons. They're new sermons on Public Times, and they're new, but they're for Mount Morris, for the church I worship with. So you guys are going to get those sermons in the coming weeks. Because I don't have time to prepare for Public Times and the classes I got on Mount Morris. So, hope you like them.
Angie says, "How are you, Heather, Carissa, Carol?" Heather is doing okay. Carissa says she's doing okay. Carol says, the TV show you mentioned before. I said, that sounds like something Red Skelton would do, the comedian. He did TV shows before commercials were actually invented. They worked the commercials into the actual show. So he would sponsor Tide, and he'd be doing a joke or whatever. He had a gal in the black, and this was, most of his shows were done in black and white, but he had a gal in the kitchen. She's washing dishes using powdered Tide, and you have the narrator, Tide for your dishes, and the gal says, yes, and they're so generous on your hands, and she pulls her hands out of the water, and there's rings and gold bracelets around her. They're so generous on your hands.
This is bad.
What?
You guys can't even see my eyes.
Yeah, no, you got sunbeam vision.
Sunlight, sunlight. Alright,
CJ, the light of your eyes is not dim.
well, you keep it going, and I'm gonna be positioned because this is a no-go.
If you swivel your camera just enough to where the light is no longer in the view of the camera, or the other way. A little bit more. And now we pretty much don't have any glare. Of course, you're a little dark, but I enjoyed watching the Red Skelton commercial and TV show. And then the other one I mentioned, Carol, was the old Sprint commercials.
What if just switch spots?
Yeah, you probably ought to do that.
Because I got one.
Please stay tuned for CJ switching spots. And the other, yeah, it was mentioned an old Sprint commercial for the internet carrier Sprint.
This is what I should have done.
Yeah, you look better.
Yeah,
Oh, nope, that just ruined the picture. Joking. Joking. Heather says, it's been a rough evening for me, but so happy to be here with my spiritual family. And you are certainly in our prayers, Heather, and we're glad to have you here as well. Angie says, praying sister for all of you. And Heather says, that's better, CJ.
Yes, it is. I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place.
Yeah, you didn't think of it yet.
What you got for us, share or audience? Bible topics? Regular topics? Bacon is on the table? Song requests?
Or song requests.
Song requests? Anyways. Oh man, I should have brought my camp song book. O'Shea's like, yes, he forgot it.
No, I'm like, bummer. Bummer.
Ooh. I know my next one. What you got?
Oh, hang on. I'm kind of looking through this. Remember, I don't use the grade book very often, so fingering through it.
I'm fingering through it and I see a bunch of songs I know. I'm hoping Camp No, they're updating their Camp Noah songbook, so I wouldn't be surprised if the doers of the word is in it.
Carol says, it sounds like everyone likes bacon. I've seen a picture of a plate piled high with bacon, with one tiny piece of lettuce on top of the pile. And it says, Lord, please bless this salad.
It's bad.
That sounds like a fun topic.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we could. I just need to get. Oh, then this song will be good. After these two songs, because I have a song that will go well with the discussion.
286. Carol says, ha 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 ha. And Heather gives us the chapter and book. We'll jump right down into that after these two songs.
Because it shouldn't take us that long.
Ready?
Yeah.
Wonderful story of love, tell it to me again. Wonderful story of love, wake the immortal strain. Angels with blessings announce it, shepherds with wonder receive it. Sinner, oh, won't you believe it? Wonderful story of love. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful story of love. Wonderful story of love, though you are far away. Wonderful story of love, still he doth call today. Calling from Calvary's mountain, down from the crystal bright fountain, in from the dawn of creation. Wonderful story of love. Wonderful. I messed it up. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful story of love. Wonderful story of love. Jesus provides the rest. wonderful story of love. For all the pure and blessed rest in those mansions above us, with those who've gone on before us, singing the blissfulness chorus. Wonderful story of love. Wonderful, 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 wonderful story of love. Now, what was yours?
606. And I'm trying to find something because, as luck would have it, I've already got something on this that I would like to share. The wise and foolish versions. It's not. It's a simple PowerPoint. Do you know it?
Not at first glance.
Okay.
Teresa says hi, family. Hello, Sister T.
Not 606. Hold on. 604.
I still don't know that one.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Darlene says late, but hello. Hello, Darlene. We're glad to have you late. We're glad to have you late than never.
All right. Let me go like this. Sorry. We'll sing in just. Hey.
And Sam even got in here. Hey, Sam.
All right, cool.
The whole gang's here today. Take it away, CJ.
You may have your worldly pleasures, your silver and your gold. You may pile up all the riches that this old world can hold. But I'd rather have my Savior and with him firmly stand. For I want to be ready to meet him in glory land. I want to be ready to meet him by and by. I want to be ready to meet him in the sky. Oh, I want to be like him and do his blessed command. For I want to be ready to meet him in glory land. You may talk about your riches, your diamonds, and your pearls. You may gain the wealth of ages, of this and all the worlds. But the Savior is more precious, and him I take my stand. For I want to be ready to meet him in the glory land. I want to be ready to meet him by and by. I want to be ready to meet him in the sky. I want to be like him and do his blessed command. For I want to be ready to meet him in glory land. There's one thing I can boast of, salvation from the fall. I'm in a wealth and glory. My Father owns it all. That is why I'm shouting happy. Hold on, verse 3 again. Sorry, I totally messed it up. There's one thing I can boast of, salvation from the fall. I'm in
Hair.
I'm in a true wealth and glory. My Father owns it all. That is why I'm shouting happy and go at His command. For one to be ready to meet Him in glorious land. I want to be ready to meet him by and by. I want to be ready to meet him in the sky. I want to be more like him and do his blessed command. For I want to be ready to meet him in glory land. You see why I wanted to sing that before we discuss the parable of the virgins?
You were gonna forget the tune otherwise?
No. Do you know what the parable of the virgins is about?
Yes, heaven coming. Yeah, I know. I'm giving you grief.
Okay. So, well, we read Matthew 25. Me too. Amen. Let's read Matthew 25, 1 through 13. And then I'll go through some
I got the Bible up.
context things, wish I had my Bible to quickly thumb through. But Isaiah 38:1. What's that? Isaiah 38:1. Sam throws up.
I believe that's probably let the Lord put our house in order. But no harm done in looking at it, right? First,
You're welcome, Teresa. Yep.
in those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came to him, and said unto him, Thus saith Jehovah, Set thy house in order, for thou shalt die and not live.
Right, so our house in order. And so that's the crux, the parable of the 10 virgins found in Matthew 25. And you can go ahead and read, I think it's 1 to 13, somewhere around there. Read till the parable ends, I guess. I got the reference right here. Hey, 1 to 13.
Matthew 25. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins who took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were foolish, and 5 were wise. For the foolish, then they took their lamps, or when they took their lamps, took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. Now, while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. But at midnight there was a cry, Behold, the bridegroom cometh! Or, Behold, the bridegroom! Come ye forth to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are going out. But the wise answered, saying, Peradventure there will not be enough for us and you. Go ye rather to them that sell, and buy it for yourselves. And while they went away to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know not the day, nor the hour.
Okay, and so
And before we jump into that, Heather, wait, who is it? Angie or Heather that asked? Heather. No, Angie. Anyways, whoever asked the question, can you please explain your question a little bit while we go through and explain this?
I think she just wanted to talk about it and study it. Which,
I'm just wanting to know if she has a particular thing she's keying in on.
yeah, that was
But while we go through it, yeah, whatever. Teresa says, O'Shea, did you all record this morning? We did, and it went to Menlo, Church of Christ, like normal. I can't say as how good the audio was. Dad and Amos were moving the camera around trying to get a better position. So.
Okay. So I think it's easy enough to explain this parable because Jesus does at the end. But I think it makes a lot more sense why he told this parable if we consider the chapter previous for a second, chapter 24. Now, the first half of the chapter, there's some debate over whether Jesus switches topics or Jesus is Jesus is dealing with the destruction of Jerusalem. I think there is a division somewhere. I wouldn't put a hard pressed. I wouldn't argue a firm division, but he does talk about his return, and so this would be judgment they would not know. Verses 32 and through 35. After he's talked about the destruction of Jerusalem, he talks about the judgment. Okay, just a review. Judgment that would come in the first part of the chapter, he's talking about the judgment that's coming on Jerusalem, the destruction of Jerusalem, and then, if you can read verses 34 through 36.
34 through 36?
Wait a minute. 32 through 35.
32 through 35?
No, just 30. Go back to where you were. These are one of this the divisions that I'm not sure where. But here's the verse. But of that day and hour, knoweth no one, not even the angels of heaven, neither the Son, but the Father only. Verse 37.
Well, what I was gonna, for context, prior to this, Jesus was talking about the destruction of Jerusalem, and then he goes on to describe the events of when he returns. And now he shifts his focus.
Oh, I know why. Go back to verse 32. Here's where I think the shift happens. And I wouldn't take a hard stand on this, but look at verse 32. And then you can read this, O'Shea.
Ordering me all over the place. Now, from the fig tree, learn her parable. When her branch is now become tender, and putteth forth its leaves, ye know that the summer is nigh. Even so ye also, when ye see all these things, know ye that he is nigh, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all these things be accomplished. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away.
Okay, so you see the signs of all these things, and then, but. So that's kind of the. He's still talking about the destruction, but of that day and hour. This is a different day and hour. No one knows, not even the Father in heaven, but my Father only. And so that's a shift that I see. Do you have thoughts on that?
I'm going to turn to the comments here. Carol says that parable makes you think a lot. Yes, it does. Angie says just a review, lack of sleep for specific questions at the moment. Teresa says, I know your dad usually sends it to me or tags me. I think he would have, but I don't know. We were fiddling with technical difficulties this morning. Darlene says, it wasn't good. It cut in and out, too. I couldn't stay. It just went silent on my end. I think that's in reference to the video from this morning. And it probably did. We were having a lot of technical difficulties. It was ridiculous. But Angie says, I'm okay, tired and overwhelmed. Sam says, we can use the parable of the 10 virgins with Isaiah 38. Verse 1, also the day the Lord will return as a thief in the night, so keep your heart in oil, God's words, which he gave life. Carol says, God bless you, Sister Angie. Amen to that. Heather says, it's sobering that he was just speaking to his disciples when teaching this parable. And Darlene says, so very sorry, things are tough for you. I do know about things being tough. I will pray for you. And Sam lists another verse.
We'll get to that one, but I want to spend like 5 more minutes on this so we can chat the rest of the time, because I don't think this is too complicated here. But he speaks of judgment they would know, first half of the chapter. Judgment they would not know, somewhere in that chapter. I would argue it was 36, but I don't know how I would explain the one where it says one taken, another left. So some still think he still has in mind the destruction of Jerusalem. So I don't know what to do with that one. But I think it's verse 36. And maybe there's some references tying that back. I don't know there. But judgment they would not know. And then judgment they would know, this should say. And then we just read Why don't you read 37 through 44?
Okay. Through what?
44.
34?
44.
44. Okay.
44.
Okay. Because I think you said read 37 through 34, and I'm like, ZJ, that's not going to work very well.
44.
40. I'm going to start with 36 anyways. But of that day and hour knoweth no one, not even the angels of heaven, neither the Son, but the Father only. And as were the days of Noah, so shall be the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days which were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And they knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall be the coming of the Son of Man. Then shall 2 men be in the field, one is taken, and one is left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, one is taken, and one is left. Watch, therefore, for ye knoweth not on what day your Lord cometh. But know this, that if the master of the house had known in what watch the thief was coming, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken through. Therefore be ye also ready, for an hour that ye think not the Son of Man cometh.
Okay, and so the part that confuses me and makes me go back and forth which one he's talking about here is 40 through 41. Do you have thoughts on that? How that would fit with
The being taken and left.
yeah, I always thought that connected back when the Romans were gonna come in and with the destruction. Do you have different thoughts on that?
I'm trying to remember.
I know
I had read a good pamphlet by what's his name? I don't
and
remember who the name of the guy was.
kind of
What?
this is not the rapture fable.
No.
This is either talking about what I think it's talking about the destruction of Jerusalem 40 to 41, but it could also be talking about the fact that some people are going to be away, right? Dead when Jesus comes back, and some will be alive when he comes back.
But anyways, I remember reading something that explained this chapter very well, but I can't remember for the life of me what it was. Now, it could be referring to the destruction of Jerusalem. That would be one way, or it could be referring how not everyone is going to be taken to heaven when he does come back. As in, the unbelievers will be left.
Well, they won't be left here.
Well, they won't be taken to heaven.
Right. So then, whichever way you view that, some take verse 42 and onward as the coming of Jesus, but I really think verse 36 is the coming of Jesus because he says, "We're going to have all these signs that you know." And then he says in verse 36, there's not going to be any signs. So I tend to believe that this section, beside verses 40 to 41, and think maybe what he's doing is connecting the two ideas here, with the destruction and Jesus' return, but that was not our objective. Alright, so that's the context. And Jesus is coming, and no one knows when, in verse 36, right?
Well, the main point of this chunk here is this is the objective that Jesus is trying to make. Be ready. You don't know. No one but the Father knows when he's coming back. That's the whole point of this chunk right here. Be ready.
Right. And he gives the example in the days of Noah. They were eating, drinking, and they said, hey, we got time. It'll be like any other day. They were partying, and they got swept away. And so...
He uses that example of Noah, back before the flood, as he says. They were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage. They were moving on with life like normal. And, Noah had gone through and said, hey, there's going to be rain. They all laughed him to scorn and didn't believe him. But boom, it was instantaneous when that rain came. And that's the point he's getting at here. The coming of the Son of Man will be like the time, how does he say that? As were the days of Noah, so shall be the coming of the Son of Man. It will be instantaneous.
So I think verses 36 to 39 is almost undisputably Jesus' second coming. But you can dispute about 40 and 41. But so with all that said, we need to stay alert for this. In verses 40 through 44, watch therefore, you don't know the hour that the day is coming, and he gives the example of a thief. If the master of the house knew that the thief was going to break in, he would have watched for him. But that's not how thievery works, and so you don't know. So be ready.
Yeah, he uses this description. And he's like, if the master of the house had known when the thief was coming, he would have watched and not let his house be broken into.
Right.
Therefore, be ye also ready, for an hour that ye think not the Son of Man cometh. It's going to be totally unexpected.
Right. And so that leads us into the parable of the 10 virgins and the I guess walking quickly through the text, verses 2 through 4 tell us that there were 7 virgins, 7 were wise. There were, hold on, sorry, there's 10 virgins, 5 were wise, 5 were foolish, right? Yeah, 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. And so we know that. And we know that the foolish virgins were not ready in verses 5 through 9. And they say, let us get a little bit of oil. Our lights gone out and we didn't bring any. And so we see that the foolish virgins were not ready, but the wise ones, the wise ones were ready, and then foolish ones missed their opportunity. If you look at verses 10 and 11, and then I'll let you comment. The door was shut. Go ahead.
And while they went away to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. And before we go any farther, I'm going to read Darlene's comment. She says, it represents when Jesus would come back for his church. Be ready, for we know not when he will return. Just like a thief. They don't broadcast when he's going to break into your house. Just be prepared. Amen.
And so...
That's it in a nutshell.
But the Lord answered and said, I do not know you. I know ye not. Watch therefore, but ye know not the day or the hour. So the nutshell of the parable of the wise and foolish virgins is be ready for Jesus to come back. They were not ready, and they got rejected. Be ready. And that is the whole point of this, was to illustrate the point in chapter 24 with his return. The latter part of it, chapter 24b. Does that make sense, Angie? Or did I convolute it?
Teresa says that's why he said, watch and pray. Yep. Breaking this down a little farther. He likens the kingdom of heaven unto 10 virgins who took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. Right here, we have 5. The foolish are people who are unprepared. The 5 are people who are prepared, i.e., obeyed the gospel. The foolish didn't bring any extra oil for their lamps. But the wise took oil in their vessels for their lamps. They came prepared. Now, during the tradition of the marriage back then, you would have the virgins, the virgins, line up on the way to where they had the wedding, and then the bridegroom would walk on by, and everyone would fall in line and go into the house or the castle or such forth, the place where they were having the wedding. And so they slept because it was late at night. They all slumbered and slept, but at midnight there was a cry. Someone yelled, "Behold, the bridegroom! Come ye forth to meet him." Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. But during the course of the night, the foolish had ran out of what little oil they brought, and says, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise answered, "There won't be enough for both of us. You can go quickly and buy some more." But they were out of time. There wasn't enough time to go do what was important. And while they were away, scrambling to get oil, the bridegroom came. And the wise that were ready fell in line behind him, and they all walked into the house where the marriage feast was, and the door was shut and bolted. And then the foolish come, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But the guy opens the door and says, "Verily, I know you not." They were too late. Watch therefore, for ye know not the day nor the hour. And that is the warning right there. We should be ready. We should be prepared. Do not be like the foolish.
Yes, it is.
There we are.
It is a joke. Hope that answered your question.
Sam says the whole point this is to keep ourself engaged in the Lord and His will, praying and watching. Blessed man that the Lord find doing. Blessed is the man that the Lord finds doing and being faithful. Amen.
Amen.
So, we've about nailed and hammered that parable out. And by the way, the meaning of a parable is a spiritual lesson in an understandable story.
But, well,
Just because.
thank you all for joining us.
Yeah,
And we will leave it off there.
that was an enjoyable time. This was our random talks.
Yes. Remember, as a ministry, we want to do 3 things. We want to glorify God. We want to edify the saints. And we want to answer any spiritual questions that we might have. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you all for being here, for reading with us, singing with us, studying with us even. We got to do that this time. Till we meet again, God bless you all. Love you. Bye-bye.